Unknown meanders of evolution. Kangaroos didn't always jump. According to a comprehensive analysis by researchers from the University of Bristol and Uppsala University, the extinct species of kangaroos did not jump. Researchers suggest that these animals used to walk on 2 or 4 limbs in the past. Kangaroos can walk, but they do so very slowly. They usually move by jumping from a 2-legged kick. But that wasn't always the case. The team of paleontologists believe that jumping was once a feature of only large kangaroos. In their paper, which appeared in an Australasian Journal of Paleontology, they extensively discussed the fossil evidence, some dating back as far as 25 million years, of how kangaroos and their relatives moved. Their analyses include data on the size of limbs and ankle bones. The researchers indicated that high-speed jumping, typical of large-bodied modern kangaroos, was rare in almost all of the evolutionary lines of these animals' ancestors. The diversity of locomotion disappeared with the extinction of species in the late Pleistocene. Almost all living kangaroos jump. However, the fossil record reveals that the locomotor abilities of some extinct species varied. The earliest kangaroos studied and described date to the late Oligocene and Middle Miocene, 25 to 15 million years ago. Scientists believe that they could jump, but not as fast and far as modern animals. However, all of these early species were small and weighed no more than 12 kilograms. Kangaroos weighing more than 20 kilograms appeared only in the late Miocene, i.e., about 10 million years ago. The method of locomotion by jumping can be problematic, especially in animals with a large mass. Modern kangaroos reach a weight of about 70 kilograms. But many extinct species were much larger and simply too big to jump. We want people to realize that kangaroos were much more diverse 50,000 years ago. It may also mean that habitats in Australia were then different than they are today, says lead author of the study, Professor Christine Janis from Bristol's School of Earth Sciences. According to her, modern large kangaroos are an exception in the evolution of these animals. Jumping as a form of locomotion was already present in the early kangaroo ancestors. However, they were small individuals. Larger animals had to be more robust or use 4 limbs to move. New data on the length of the tibia and calcaneus of kangaroos shows that the ancestors of modern animals moved not only by jumping. The researchers emphasize that one should not simplify the research results, because jumping is only one of the many ways kangaroos move. In the course of evolution, these animals moved in a variety of ways. The Arctic was inhabited by dinosaurs. Scientists have new evidence. In the 1950s, scientists made the first unexpected discoveries of dinosaur remains in the Arctic. Now, researchers have found the first convincing evidence that several dinosaur species not only lived in what is now northern Alaska, but also nested there. These are the northernmost dinosaurs known to exist, says Patrick Druckenmiller of the University of Alaska Museum of the North. The new discovery is described in the journal Current Biology. Druckenmiller describes that scientists were able to find the remains of tiny, egg or newly hatched dinosaurs belonging to 2 species. In addition, we have so far documented at least 7 species of dinosaurs breeding in the Arctic, says the scientist. Previous studies conducted elsewhere have provided evidence that one or two species of dinosaur were capable of nesting near or just outside the Arctic or Antarctic circles. But the new study is the first to show conclusively that ancient reptiles nested at extremely high latitudes. The environmental conditions at that time and place were very difficult. The average annual temperature did not exceed 6 degrees Celsius, and for about 4 months there was a polar night. Druckenmiller and Gregory Erickson of Florida State University are leading a multi-year research project to document the ancient Arctic ecosystem of the Prince Creek Formation in northern Alaska. They are looking for remains of dinosaurs as well as mammals and other vertebrates. Researchers also want to understand how ancient animals survived in such harsh environmental conditions. Scientists point out that the project is difficult to implement due to the difficult conditions currently prevailing in the exploration area. The research season in the Arctic is short and access to the places we search is very difficult, so we use planes and small boats, says Druckenmiller. What's more, the rocks that are suitable for exploration can only be seen from the bluffs along the Colville, the largest river in northern Alaska. These cliffs are dangerous, prone to collapse, making it difficult to safely find and extract fossils. During the search, we discovered numerous deposits of microfossils, which provided us with a lot of new knowledge about the entire Arctic ecosystem from over 70 million years ago, emphasizes Druckenmiller. Over a decade of research, scientists, aided by many students, have found hundreds of baby dinosaur bones, including tiny teeth from individuals that were either still in the egg or had just hatched. Among the Arctic reptile species they discovered are small and large herbivorous hadrosaurs, duck-billed dinosaurs, ceratopsians, horned dinosaurs, the coelosaurs, and carnivores including tyrannosaurs, trudens and dromaeosaurs. Not so long ago, the idea of finding any dinosaurs at such extreme latitudes was unthinkable, says Druckenmiller. Now to find out that most of these species also breed in the Arctic is really remarkable. We've been asked for a long time if we found any eggs. We answered, and we still answer, no. But we have something much better. Young dinosaurs, emphasizes the scientist. The findings provide evidence that numerous dinosaur species not only lived in extreme Arctic conditions, but most likely lived there all the time. Year-round Arctic habitation is a natural test of dinosaur physiology, says Erickson. No remains of cold-blooded terrestrial vertebrates, such as amphibians, lizards and crocodiles, have yet been found in those areas, only bones of warm-blooded birds and mammals and dinosaurs. I think this is one of the most convincing pieces of evidence that dinosaurs were actually warm-blooded. The discovery raises new questions about how dinosaurs coped during Arctic winters. According to the researchers, they probably developed unique strategies for coping with darkness, low temperatures and limited access to food. New research. Medieval warhorses were the size of ponies. Most of us imagine that medieval warhorses were powerful animals. However, this is a myth, argue scientists from the University of Exeter. According to their research, most knights sat on horses that were less than 1.5 meters high at the withers. In movies and literature, war steeds are depicted as huge, shuffling, snorting animals with a twinkle in their eyes. Meanwhile, a team of archaeologists and historians from the University of Exeter discovered that the medieval warhorse was a much lighter and much more delicate animal, about the size of modern ponies. The research was published in the International Journal of Osteoarchaeology. Researchers examined the bones of around 2,000 horses dating from the 4th to 17th centuries found in castles, medieval horse graveyards and other archaeological sites in England. Experts also delved into historical records and stories about chivalry. It turns out that the reality was not as it is presented today, says Professor Alan Outram from the University of Exeter's Archaeology Department. In popular culture, warhorses are often depicted as large. In fact, it wasn't. Most medieval horses are surprisingly small. Professor Outram argues that the vast majority of medieval horses, including warhorses, were less than 1.5 meters high at the withers. One of the largest specimens ever identified was little more than 1.6 meters tall and dates from the Norman period. Its size can be compared to a small modern riding horse. According to the researchers, the size of the mount was not the most important thing for medieval warriors. Mighty steeds may have been used in isolated cases, but armies also needed smaller horses for tasks such as harassing a retreating enemy, conducting long-distance raids, and transporting equipment. The research team also emphasizes that this is not meant to suggest that medieval horse breeders did not devote a great deal of time, effort and money to their work. Especially in the 13th and 14th centuries, the royal stud was incredibly developed, says Professor Outram. There is still a lot of work ahead of the experts. Very few horse remains have been found on the battlefields. Animals killed during skirmishes were often transported from the places where they died. All this makes the work of experts difficult. Now, scientists are planning further work, including DNA analysis of horses and detailed research on armor for steeds. Tumors eliminated with ultrasound. New method successfully used in rats. Tests on rats have shown that histotrypsy, a technique developed at the University of Michigan, can improve outcomes for cancer and neurological conditions. Non-invasive technology using ultrasound breaks up tumors, kills cancer cells and stimulates the immune system to prevent further spread of the disease. Researchers in a new study used ultrasonic pulses to partially destroy liver tumors in rats, stimulating the rodent's immune system to remove remaining tumor cells and prevent the spread or recurrence of the disease. A technique called histotrypsy only destroyed 50% of the cells. Up to 75% volume of the tumor, the rest was removed by the immune system of the rodents stimulated to action. The results of the study showed that the treatment stimulated the immune responses of the rats, which may have contributed to the eventual regression of part of the tumor and prevented further spread of the tumor. Within 3 months of treatment, 80% animals had no signs of disease or metastases. Even if we don't eradicate the entire tumor, we can cause it to regress and also reduce the risk of metastasis, says study author Professor Zhen Zhu. Reporting their findings in the journal Cancers, the researchers acknowledged that their technique could lead to effective, non-invasive treatments for some of the most incurable human cancers. Histotrypsy is the non-invasive focusing of ultrasound waves to mechanically destroy the target tissue with millimeter precision. This relatively new technique is currently being used in human liver cancer research in the United States and Europe. In many cases, the entire tumor cannot be treated directly for reasons such as size, location or stage. To study the effects of partially destroying tumors with sound, the latest study targeted only a portion of each tumor, leaving the tumor intact and able to continue to grow. It also allowed the team to test the effectiveness of the method in more difficult conditions. Histotripsy is a promising option that could overcome current limitations and become a safe and effective non-invasive method of removing liver tumors, says co-author JpAS4. We hope that the conclusions drawn from this analysis will motivate future preclinical and clinical studies of histotripsy, with the ultimate goal of clinical application of this method in patients with liver cancer. Liver cancer is among the top 10 causes of cancer-related deaths worldwide. Even with multiple treatment options, the prognosis remains poor, with a 5-year survival rate of less than 18%. In USA, the high incidence of tumor recurrence and metastasis highlights the need for research into new treatments. While a typical ultrasound scan uses sound waves to create images of the inside of the body, engineers at the University of Michigan use them to heal. Their technique works without the harmful side effects of current treatments such as radiotherapy and chemotherapy. Our transducer, designed and built at the University of Michigan, delivers high-amplitude, microsecond-long ultrasound pulses to the tumor and breaks up the tumor, explains Zhu. Traditional ultrasound devices use lower-amplitude pulses for imaging, he adds. Microsecond pulses from the device generate microbubbles in the target tissues, bubbles that rapidly expand and collapse. These violent mechanical stresses kill cancer cells and break down the structure of the tumor. Since 2001, Zhu's laboratory has been a pioneer in the use of histotripsy in the fight against cancer. Artificial intelligence will help save bees. The world's first network of smart hives using artificial intelligence has been launched in the UK. The project is to help fight the declining bee population. It is estimated that 100 species of crops provide 90% of the world's food. 71% of them thrive thanks to bee pollination. Unfortunately, their population is steadily declining. Over the past 25 years, in some European Union countries, the population of honeybees and other beneficial insects has decreased by 75%. In England alone, the number of honeybees fell by 54% between 1985 and 2005. The reason is e.g. the use of pesticides, climate change and diseases that affect insects. According to a 2016 report by the Intergovernmental Platform on Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services, JpAS4, the population of other pollinators is also declining. Bumblebees are declining in northwestern Europe, and bats and hummingbirds are declining in North America. Long-term monitoring at national and international levels is needed to provide information on the status and trends of pollinator populations in most regions of the world, the report states. In the long term, the lack of action in this area could lead to the extinction of some plant species and, consequently, to a food deficit and a decrease in employment in agriculture. The global problem prompted scientists to use the latest technologies in the fight for the bee population. In 2014, Sabia Malik invited University of Reading biologist Simon Potts, co-author of the JpAS4 report, to set up the World Bee Project with her. He was joined by scientists from around the world, as well as technological partners. In cooperation with Oracle, work has begun on a project to create a network of smart hives called the World Bee Project Hive Network. Thanks to the latest technology, they are supposed to help maintain the bee population. The World Bee Project Hive Network will collect data remotely, then feed it into the Oracle Cloud, which in turn will use analytics. artificial intelligence and data visualization to provide researchers with information about the relationship between honeybees and their environment. Such a system will allow researchers to listen to bees, to analyze complex acoustic data recorded in smart hives, including the movements of bee wings. With this information, combined with other precise measurements, such as temperature, humidity and the amount of honey produced, researchers will be able to closely monitor bee colonies, detect patterns and predict behavior. This will allow beekeepers and conservationists to take appropriate action to protect entire colonies, such as preventing swarming at the wrong time of year or fighting predators. Conservation of nature cannot do without technology nowadays. The World Bee Project Hive Network is a unique example of how one of the oldest, traditional industries can use the latest cloud technologies, pointed out Piotr Wyczynski, P.O. CEO of Oracle Poland and head of Oracle's consulting department in C&CIS. Data and information obtained through the use of Oracle Cloud will be shared with research and conservation projects to protect bees around the world. This will provide researchers with the information they need to work with governments, and beekeepers with information to help them limit the decline of bee populations. The exciting aspect of this project was the ability to research with ordinary citizens using image, voice and video recognition, said Ian Sharp, a specialist in Oracle's cloud innovation team. In order to get the most accurate results from image and video processing, analysts are increasingly building packages of open-source libraries that use deep learning. But implementing them is a challenge. At Oracle, we have created an innovative solution to meet these needs, which enables the implementation of mixed models from libraries such as Keras, Caffe2 and TensorFlow in an easy and reliable way and with optimized performance, he added. Analyzers based on data collected from around the world will answer the question of how to improve the situation of honeybees. In turn, weather data, map data and freely available government data will complement the knowledge of scientists and beekeepers about the condition of the hives. As the amount of data grows, machine learning technologies will start to see patterns in the data, leading to new research methods. The partnership with Oracle is a breakthrough for us, said Sabia Malik. The use of an autonomous database recognizing patterns is the implementation of scenarios known from science fiction literature, in the positive sense of the word. We have the potential to help transform the way food is produced around the world and protect the livelihoods of hundreds of millions of farmers. An extrasolar planet orbiting 3 stars has been discovered. In recent decades, astronomers have discovered thousands of extrasolar planets. Some of them orbit around a single star, like the Earth around the Sun. Some formed in binary systems, but now astronomers are reporting the discovery of an exoplanet orbiting in a triple system. This very rare type of Jupiter-sized planet is located in the constellation Orion and orbits 3 stars simultaneously. Traces of an exoplanet have been discovered in the triple star system GW Orionis, about 1,300 light-years away in the constellation of Orion. The system consists of 2 stars that orbit each other every 241 days, and a third star that orbits the other 2 every 11.5 years. The system is surrounded by a disk of gas and dust typical of a young star system. This disk is divided into rings, in which there is a rather puzzling gap. Detailed modeling of the system suggests that the best explanation for its existence is a large gas planet. The latest observations were published in the journal Monthly Notices of the Royal Astronomical Society. GW Orionis is known to astronomers. In 2020, the Astrophysical Journal Letters published the first studies of this system. Astronomers took a closer look at GW Orionis with the ALMA telescope in Chile, Atacama Large Millimeter, Sub-Millimeter Array, and found that the entire system is surrounded by a protoplanetary disk, a clump of material from which planets form. This disk consists of 3 rings and has a gap between the innermost and middle rings. This gap is about 15 billion kilometers wide. In addition, the outer ring is inclined at an angle of about 38 degrees to the others. Scientists have so far interpreted the observed gap as the result of the gravitational interactions of 3 stars. In the new work, astronomers used simulations to calculate where the gap came from. They based their assumptions on observations of other dust rings elsewhere in the universe. The modeling results suggest that it was not the stars and their gravity that caused the puzzling gap, but a Jupiter-sized planet or several planets. We investigated a scenario where a planet could be responsible for the disk gap. We compared our simulation with observations and they match up quite well, said Dr. Jeremy Smallwood of the University of Nevada, lead author of the paper. Scientists have previously found worlds orbiting one of the stars in a triple star system, but never noticed an exoplanet orbiting 3 stars simultaneously. However, the new findings will need to be confirmed, and as the scientists point out, this will not be easy. The transit method, by which most known exoplanets have been discovered, will not work in this case. This method measures the brightness of stars, looking for small, regular dimmings that may have been caused by the planet's orbit around the star. If the planet's orbital plane is properly aligned with our line of sight, then such a planet will periodically pass in front of its star, make a transit, which will cause a periodic decrease in brightness. In this case, however, the orbital plane of the probable planet or planets is so aligned that it is impossible to see the transit. Although that just made it easier to see the protoplanetary disk. The best evidence of a planet or planets would come from high-resolution imaging of the system. Although this is currently beyond the technological capabilities of our observatories, and the GW Orionis system is over 1,000 light-years away. Perhaps the James Webb Space Telescope, which is likely to be launched later this year, will be able to observe something. The authors of the new paper also noted that 3 stars in the sky would be impossible to see from the surface of the probable planet. As they point out, the 2 inner stars' orbits are close to each other that they would look like a single point in the sky.